We would suggest with starting to make a list of assets for the deceased, anything at all from property, business, bank accounts, investment, shares, anything at all that may be construed as an asset with a monetary value does need to be taken into account. The best way to do this and find out information is to look through paperwork you may come across in a loved one's property, speak to any banks that you're aware of that the person has an account with, any investments, shares or bonds, etc. Contact the providers of the said products and ask what the requirements are in terms of releasing any funds. Once it's been established as to whether a grant of probate is needed, you would then need to consider whether you wish to seek assistance in that application. If that was the case, we can assist with the grant of probate application. Anything from assistance with just obtaining the grant straight through to full administration and distribution of the estate. If there is a property, any land or any business at all in the estate, then a grant of probate will definitely be needed, regardless of anything in terms of funds in the bank, etc. Nothing can be done with a property or land or transfer of anything in terms of those kind of assets until a grant of probate is obtained. So in those instances, it is likely that you would be best placed to seek assistance from a solicitor to make sure that the documentation is submitted correctly, etc., to then have the documents that are required to deal with those assets in the estate. An executor can deal with the distribution of an estate. It really does depend on how comfortable they are in dealing with the distribution of the assets. Some people would have, a lot of money in the bank when it could consist of millions. Others may have a smaller amount to deal with. Also, there's different numbers of beneficiaries that are in wills, so it could be that you've just got one or two people to pay out. Others have got multiple beneficiaries. So in terms of assistance, usually people would be happy to deal with a smaller estate, for example, than they would a larger estate which involves a lot of money, multi-million pounds and properties, etc., just because it would take the onus off them, and the solicitor would then be there to guide them through the process and make sure everything is done correctly. Depending on what it is we're dealing with will obviously depend on the fees. So if we are dealing with a full administration and distribution of an estate, we would calculate that on a percentage basis. So we would charge 3% of the gross value of the estate. Now, the funds are payable from the estate, providing there are funds in the estate to pay for the fees. There would be some fees that are payable up front, and by that we mean things such as third-party costs which fall outside of our legal fees. So there would be a probate registry fee, for example, that is payable, identification checks that need to be done on the executors, and a few other smaller disbursements for land registry fees, etc., if there are properties involved. We as a team, we're all very friendly, very approachable. We've all had experiences in our personal lives which I think contributes to how we handle these kind of inquiries. Losing a loved one is difficult for anybody in any circumstance, and we look to just make it as easy as possible. Regardless of what level of service you require, we would just be here to help and guide you through the process.